Hey guys, it's Biosphere here, and today I'm going to be chatting to you about the Playstyle feature that's in DotA 2 Reborn, and just explaining how it works, how it's calculated, and a few other things. So let's get started. Basically, these points inside this graph, which is a radar graph, by the way, I had to Google that. These points are calculated from values that you've achieved in certain areas of the game in your last 20 games. So just to explain how these points are calculated. The fighting point is calculated using the golden experience that you gain from killing heroes and fighting heroes, and also your hero damage that you do. This value for farming is calculated from the amount of gold and experience you get from killing creeps and neutrals, and I think I doubt it, but it might also use the amount of damage you do to neutrals and creeps. I'm not sure about that, but I'm definitely sure about the whole golden experience thing. The supporting element is calculated from the amount of gold spent on wards, smoke, and couriers, as well as the amount of hero healing that you do in your games. The pushing element is calculated from the amount of damage you do to towers and buildings. And then your versatility is calculated from the amount of hero or different heroes you've played in your last 20 games. So I think that it also factors in heroes that are considered carries or supports, or like offlaners, which are initiators. So I think it also factors that in, because I think I've only played 9 different heroes in my last 20 games out of 20. So technically, if it just took the amount of different heroes I've played in the last 20 games, then I should be sitting close to about 0.5, but I'm only on 0.12. And a lot of these heroes are carries. I've played only 2 supports. If I was playing all carries and it only factored in the amount of different heroes I play, it should be about 0.5, but it's not. So I think if you want to get it all the way up to max, you have to play carries, disablers, and supports in an equal amount. So say like 6 of each, and then maybe 1 that's can be a carry, support, and a disabler, and then you could probably max it out. So that's how that works. The way in which these are calculated, because you get 0.62, what does 0.62 mean? That's what you might ask. Well, this value here is calculated as a max value for your average values that you've got here. You take this value, which could be anything. So say your average was 500 GPM and XPM from heroes, and you did a certain amount of damage. Then it will take a value over here, which is quite a bit more, but dependent on the average values for all of these points. Okay. Then it takes this value and divides this value by that value, and then you get 0.62. Now say your GPM and XPM and hero damage increases, say to 600 GPM, 600 XPM, and another value for damage. Then this value will then be recalibrated in retrospect to these values. Okay, so I'm going to explain this a bit further, but this means that say you max out farming, this value will then drop. If it stays the same, its position on this graph and its value 0.62, if this maxes out, this will drop. Okay, do you understand that? So this max value for each point is relative to the other points. It changes relative to how much XPM and GPM you get on these other points. So this basically says that if you are, say, a 2K MMR player who's like getting like 300 or 400 GPM a game, your graph will still be able to balance out. And I think the best graph, or the most balanced graph, is the one on this line here. So if you get all of your values to being balanced, so that it represents you thoroughly at your level, then it will be on all of these lines. And then if you go and check your GPM and XPM, that will be your optimal GPM and XPM for your skill level. That's how this graph works. And these values here are taken from your last 20 games, and they'll obviously change as you go along. So your objective should always be to try and increase these values here. And then you'll see that, yes, you may go up to 600 GPM and XPM average per game, but this graph will still, you know, you won't like suddenly jump up to max here or whatever. It will still balance itself out because these values are calculated relative to each other. And then obviously these values are taken from all of your games that you've ever played. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it's helped you understand this graph a bit better. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. If you think I'm wrong or if you have an opinion, please leave it in the comment section and I'll try and chat to you about it. Otherwise, thanks for watching, guys. Cheers.